how about you?
Well, I got some great stuff that the group's been rehearsing all week, but my man can't seem to find a house to lay down the tracks, you know?
Hey, well, now let me lay some good news on you. I was over at that crazy round building in Hollywood and Vine for a month, and did I ever get some good sound?
You mean that stack of records with the needle on top? I thought you had to be on Capitol to record there.
Oh, man, they record anybody, even me. Hey, come on up to my place and dig some sounds that'll knock your socks off.
Oh man, I ain't wearing it!
I have to scribe in by hand a selection number or some kind of a number to identify the client's album. In our world, it's called a scribe number. And so I will put that number in over here in the real small little area, and I will scribe that in there. And as well, sometimes in the past, over the years, people will like to put in little hidden jokes, something short, something that nobody else kind of gets, but they know it's kind of special. The Eagles used to do this, various bands. If you look at the old records, you'll see little funny sentences or just little sayings that don't make sense. It's kind of an inside joke, and that becomes very popular. So people will ask me to put that in there too, and I do it, and as long as it's not long, we can get it in there.
Hello vinyl community, I'm back again with another Tales of the Deadwax, and as you can tell from the intro, I'm covering legendary Capitol mastering engineer Ron McMaster. Ron did not start out as a mastering engineer. In fact, he was in a band of his own, and that band just happened to be Public Nuisance. And what's interesting about this album is this did not see the light of day until Jack White got a hold of it. So the story of the band is very interesting, and there's Ron right there. So they are garage psych, and they were under Terry Melcher, who has a very interesting history. So this album was squashed because of Mr. Charles Manson. So Terry Melcher owned a residence that was later taken over by Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate, as I'm showing you here, was murdered by Charlie Manson. Terry Melcher became a recluse, and this album was never put out. And what is interesting is that in the Deadwax here, Mr. McMaster had some fun, and he put in the Deadwax released in spite of TM and CM, which is Terry Melcher and Charles Manson. This album is enjoyable, and I want to play you a couple of tracks from this album. I'm going to play you Small Faces and Gotta Survive, so here you go.
Small faces will hide from you in places that you don't use. Small voices are never heard. You set them on fire and now they'll burn. We talked on the telly line. We walked in a straight line, and yet we were always on time.
So, as you can see, Ron and his band definitely had some talent. Now, Ron's Deadwax signature is RM. Sometimes he's used an MM, but I do not have any examples of an MM. But you will see RM. And a mystery to me is he will put either a G1 or a G2. Now, my assumption is this is in relation to the capital A's that are used, because they have two of them. And there are two wonderful videos out there, which I will include a link down below. Wonderful interviews with Ron and his, I want to say his mentee, Ian Sefcik, who I will cover under another video in the future here. But Ron has worked for Capitol for 30 years, and if I see RM in the Deadwax, I know sonically I should be getting a pretty good record. So some of the stuff that he's done that most people know: Radiohead, OK Computer, So Radiohead just changed labels. They are now with XL, but in the late 2000s, early 2010-11, Radiohead went through a slew of issues through Capitol, and Ron did all the mastering for those. Here's an example of the RM for you. Another thing that Capitol did with the resurgence of vinyl, they went through a slew of Sinatra reissues, and of course the Radioheads, and a lot of the ones that were done in the early teens had this gold sticker. This sounds fantastic, and here's an RM for you. This one was pressed at Rainbow because of the S, which I'm showing you here. Next up is Don McLean. So Universal owns Capitol. They also own Blue Note, EMI, and this is just another example of a lot of reissues. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are watching me like, why would you buy a reissue that? Well, surprisingly, you know, as many of these that were produced, the originals, I have never found a good clean copy. So, you know, I went for the reissue. Now, this reissue was done by United, and I'm showing you the U here. Here's the RM for Ron McMaster, but my problem with United is, of course, I got bits of non-fill here, problems with the stampers. It's just incredible. So if I come across a good clean reissue, I'll probably pick it up just for comparison. Everybody knows the tracks, Vincent, and of course the title one, American Pie. It's not a bad album at all. The last one I'm going to show you, and I will play some samples from this, is Let 'Em Roll by Big John Patton. So Blue Note being owned by Universal. All the stuff is being cut by Capitol. Ron actually has a lot of experience doing Blue Notes. In fact, Capitol had purchased Blue Note, or EMI had purchased Blue Note way back, and so just in the past few years with the 75th anniversary campaign, they have gone through and they're cutting Blue Notes. Ron hasn't done all of them, so Blue Note has gone through a series of different mastering engineers. So they're using Ian for some, they're using Ron for some. I've seen Bernie Grundman cut some of these, and they're using different pressing plants. Now, this one again was pressed by United. Here's the U. Big John Patton, if you don't know him, is a Hammond B player. And of course, it features Grant Green and Bobby Hutcherson. So just fantastic players in their own right. And here's a couple of tracks for you to listen to for this one. So that was Ron McMaster. Again, if I see RM and the Deadwax, I know I'm getting a good record. There was a wonderful article that was put out by the LA Times, I believe. I'm going to include a link to that down below along with the two YouTube interviews that I've seen with Ron, just in case you're interested and you want to hear a little more about his history. The interviews are short. I highly recommend it, and hope to be doing another one of these in the future. Leave me a comment down below, and I'll catch you next time.